Arsenal have become exactly what Europe was afraid of. Not just a good team, not just title contenders, but something far more dangerous, something complete. For years, Arsenal were seen as promising, talented, exciting, a young side knocking on the door of greatness. But there was always doubt, always a weakness, a soft underbelly, a lack of maturity, a moment where pressure would crack them. That version is gone. This Arsenal does not look hopeful. It looks inevitable. You can sense it in the way they control matches, in the way they suffocate opponents, in the way they walk onto the pitch expecting to win. There is a different fire now. Not desperation, not chaos, control. And that is what makes them frightening. Because when a team combines elite structure, defensive dominance, tactical intelligence, and belief, it stops being just a contender. It becomes a problem for everyone. Across Europe, the giants are watching, and they can feel it. This is no longer the Arsenal that surprises you in a title race. This is the Arsenal built to finish it. A team engineered for pressure, constructed for knockout football, designed to win on the biggest nights. And that's the warning. Europe didn't fear Arsenal because of hype. Europe feared the possibility of Arsenal becoming complete. Now that possibility is reality. If Chapter 1 was the warning, this is the evidence. Because when you look at this Arsenal team line by line, position by position, you begin to understand why the fear is real. Start at the back. Right now, Arsenal have the best defensive unit in Europe. Not just statistically, not structurally. They don't simply defend, they suffocate. They restrict space, compress time, and force mistakes before danger even develops. Behind it all stands David Raya, calm, precise, commanding. He doesn't just make saves, he dictates the tempo from deep. His distribution turns defense into attack in seconds, and when called upon, he delivers moments that swing matches. This season, he hasn't just protected leads, he's preserved belief. In front of him, the foundation, William Saliba and Gabriel Magalhaes, power and composure, aggression and intelligence. They can defend deep inside their own box or hold a fearless high line near the halfway line. Physically dominant, positionally mature, and tactically synchronized. Their chemistry is no longer developing, it's established. And against Europe's best forwards, they look unshaken. But great defenses need protection. Enter Martin Zubimendi, the balance piece, the connector, the quiet controller. He shields the back line, breaks pressure with intelligent passes, and gives structure to everything around him. While others grab headlines, he ensures stability. He is the hinge that allows Arsenal to expand without losing control. Alongside him, Declan Rice, relentless energy, tactical discipline, explosive transitions. With Zubimendi securing the base, Rice has evolved, pushing higher, arriving late into dangerous spaces, influencing the final third more than ever before. He is no longer just a destroyer, he is an impact player. And then comes the creative brain, Martin Ødegaard, the rhythm setter, the manipulator of space. He drifts between lines, accelerates combinations, and sees passing lanes before they appear. When Arsenal need control, he provides it. When they need incision, he delivers it. Now add the firepower returning at the perfect moment. Bukayo Saka, direct, fearless, decisive. Kai Havertz, intelligent movement, positional versatility. Gabriel Jesus, chaos, unpredictability, pressing intensity. Suddenly, this isn't just a strong starting 11. It's depth, it's variation, it's solutions. And then, there's the wild card. Viktor Gyokeres, the physical reference point, the penalty box predator. Still evolving within Arteta's system, but carrying the tools to change everything. Strength, movement, finishing instinct. If he fully ignites, Arsenal's attack transforms from dangerous to unstoppable. Line by line, this squad has no obvious weakness. Defense, structure, creativity, physicality, depth, finishing. This isn't a team relying on one superstar. It's a machine built with complementary pieces. And when every piece fits, that's when contenders become champions. There have been strong Arsenal teams before. There have been exciting Arsenal teams, talented ones, even brave ones. But this one feels different. A few years ago, Arsenal surprised everyone by entering a title race earlier than expected. They played fearless football. They shocked established giants. But when the pressure tightened, cracks appeared. They weren't in the Champions League. They exited domestic cups too early. The squad was thin. The experience wasn't there. They were ahead of schedule. Now, they look right on time. This transformation didn't happen overnight. It is the product of evolution, especially from one man, Mikel Arteta. Early in his tenure, Arteta was building identity, learning on the job, making bold calls, sometimes stubborn ones. There were growing pains, tactical experiments, emotional touchline reactions. Today, he looks different too. More measured, more adaptable, more composed under pressure. He rotates with purpose, adjusts mid-game, trusts his structure. The emotional volatility has been replaced by calculated control. He no longer coaches like a project manager. He coaches like a leader of contenders. And behind him, the structure of the club has sharpened. A new sporting director has reinforced long-term planning. Recruitment feels targeted, not reactive. Profiles are selected to fit a system, not just fill a gap. There is clarity in decision-making, an alignment between boardroom and bench. Then there's the academy. Instead of being forced to rely on youth out of necessity, Arsenal now integrate young players from a position of strength. The pipeline is producing real contributors, not just prospects. That matters. It signals sustainability, it signals identity, but perhaps the biggest change isn't tactical or structural, it's mental. Previous Arsenal sides sometimes played like they were hoping to win. This one plays like it expects to. When they concede, they don't panic. When they lead, they don't retreat into fear. When pressure builds, they look steady. That maturity cannot be faked. You see it in how they manage games, in how they close out tight moments, in how they navigate multiple competitions without losing clarity. This Arsenal doesn't feel like a team chasing validation anymore. It feels like a team that knows exactly who it is, and that's certainty. There's a phrase repeated throughout football history: attack wins headlines, defense wins titles. And right now, Arsenal are not just defending well, they are defending historically well. Strip away the emotion, remove the hype, look only at the numbers. This season, Arsenal have kept opponents under one expected goal in 29 of their 38 matches. That's 76% of their games. Across Europe's top 5 leagues, no team has done it more consistently. That isn't luck. That isn't variance. That is structural dominance. Expected goals measure the quality of chances allowed. And Arsenal don't just prevent shots, they prevent good shots. They suffocate build-up play before it becomes danger. They compress space between the lines. They force opponents into low-percentage attempts from distance or wide angles. This is proactive defending, and the clean sheets reflect it. 20 shutouts in 38 matches, more than half the season without conceding. David Raya and the defensive unit in front of him have built a culture of control. Even in matches where Arsenal concede, the underlying performance rarely suggests chaos. Some might argue that statistically another side, perhaps Roma, edges them in certain raw defensive numbers. But raw totals don't tell the whole story. Arsenal's dominance exists within context: Premier League intensity, European nights, domestic cup rotations. Since the beginning of the 2023/2024 campaign, Arteta's Arsenal have conceded fewer league goals per game than any other team in Europe's top 5 divisions. That is not a purple patch. That is identity. Their defensive system is layered. The front line presses with intelligence, not reckless energy. The midfield screens passing lanes before danger develops. The back line holds shape with near-perfect spacing. The goalkeeper operates as a reset point, calming transitions. It's synchronized. What makes Arsenal's defense frightening isn't just the numbers, it's the repeatability. They can defend deep when required. They can hold a high line under pressure. They can manage aerial bombardment. They can control possession to eliminate risk entirely. Every scenario has an answer. Across Europe, elite teams are built differently. Some rely on overwhelming attack. Others depend on individual brilliance. Arsenal, right now, are built on control, and control travels in league campaigns, in knockout ties, in hostile stadiums. Because when the margins shrink, when moments decide seasons, the team that gives away the least usually survives the longest. And this Arsenal side, they give away almost nothing. At the heart of every great defensive era, there is a partnership. For Arsenal, that partnership is William Saliba and Gabriel Magalhaes. They have now played 135 matches together in all competitions. In the Premier League alone, they have started over 100 games side by side. Right now, Arsenal are not chasing the season. They are controlling it. In the Premier League, they sit at the summit, top of the table, not clinging on, leading. Yes, Manchester City are close. Yes, the margin is narrow, but this version of City doesn't feel like the unstoppable 2023 machine. They look vulnerable, human, and Arsenal know it. Then comes Wembley. A Carabao Cup final awaits. A one-off game. 90 minutes for silverware. These are the nights that shift narratives, and from contenders to winners. Arsenal are no longer hoping to compete in finals. They expect to own them. The FA Cup path? Favorable. A League One opponent in Mansfield Town in the 5th round. On paper, manageable. In reality, another opportunity. Because when a team is serious about greatness, it treats every competition as priority, not distraction. But the real test is Europe. In the Champions League, Arsenal's route has opened up in a way that few could have predicted. In the round of 16, they face Bayer Leverkusen. Dangerous, yes, but not invincible. If they progress, the quarterfinal offers Sporting or Bodo Glimt. On the opposite side of the bracket lie the traditional heavyweights: Paris Saint-Germain, Real Madrid, Bayern Munich, Liverpool, Manchester City, Chelsea, all separated. There are no guarantees in knockout football. One mistake can erase months of dominance. But when you zoom out and assess the path, the draw has been kind, and elite teams capitalize on kindness. This is the first time in years that Arsenal's Champions League journey doesn't immediately collide with a European superpower. The psychological barrier feels lighter. The opportunity feels real. Now the question whispers louder. Premier League leaders, Carabao Cup finalists, favorable European bracket, manageable FA Cup tie. Could this be the season where everything aligns? The quadruple is a dangerous word. Heavy, almost forbidden, but belief is growing, because for the first time in a long time, Arsenal are not just dreaming about glory, they are positioned for it. And when destiny is in your own hands, the only thing left is execution. There's a moment in every great season where belief stops being hope and starts becoming expectation. Arsenal are standing at that moment now. The league is within reach. A domestic final awaits. Europe has opened a door. The FA Cup path looks manageable. And suddenly the question no one wanted to say out loud begins to surface. Could this be the quadruple? It sounds ambitious, dangerous even. English football has seen how fragile dominance can be. One injury, one bad night, one red card, and history shifts. But this time, something feels different. In previous seasons, Arsenal played like a team trying to prove they belonged. Now they play like a team that knows they do. Before, when pressure arrived, tension followed. Now, when pressure rises, composure answers. That is the shift. This squad doesn't panic when they concede. They don't retreat when they lead. They don't look overwhelmed on the biggest stages. They look ready. You see it in the defensive control. You see it in the tactical maturity. You see it in the way players celebrate blocks like goals. You see it in how they close games without chaos. And above all, you feel it. This Arsenal side doesn't carry the weight of the past anymore. They carry momentum. They are deeper, stronger, smarter, more battle-tested. And maybe, just maybe, this is what completion looks like. The quadruple isn't guaranteed. Football never promises fair endings. But for the first time in over a decade, Arsenal are entering the decisive months of the season not with fear, but with control. This team feels different, not because of hype, not because of luck, but because every layer, from structure to mentality, has aligned. Europe was warned. Now the only question that remains is simple. Are we witnessing the season where Arsenal stop chasing history and start writing it?